I want you to imagine something. You go to court, you win. The judge looks at you and says, "You are correct. The law is on your side." You shake hands with your lawyer. You feel great. Justice, right? 3 weeks later, you're standing on the sidewalk, in front of what used to be your house. A moving truck is taking your furniture. Your neighbors are watching. And the reason? Not because you lost, but because you won. Today, we're starting with one of the most insane legal stories I've ever found. A man in New Jersey, a dog without a leash, a $1 victory, and an $18,000 bill. Let's get into it. Let me introduce you to Mr. Peterson. That's not his real name, but let's call him that. Peterson lives in a quiet neighborhood in New Jersey. He has a small house, a lawn, maybe a fence. His neighbor has a dog, friendly dog, no monster, no killer. But here's the thing. The city where Peterson lives has a very specific law. All dogs must be on a leash when outside the owner's property. Pretty normal, right? Most towns have that. One afternoon, Peterson is in his backyard. The neighbor's dog runs in, no leash. The dog doesn't bite, doesn't attack, just runs around, sniffs a flower, leaves. Peterson is annoyed, not terrified, not injured, annoyed. He calls the police. They say, "Sir, this is not a crime. Go to civil court." Most people would stop here. But Peterson? He decides, "No, I want them to follow the law." So he files a small claim lawsuit. Who does he sue? The neighbor? No, that would be logical. He sues the city. His argument, "Your police didn't enforce the leash law. That's your job. Pay me for emotional distress." Emotional distress. From a dog, for 3 minutes. Already you're thinking, this is weird. They go to court. Small room. No jury. Just a judge, Peterson, and a lawyer from the city. Peterson explains everything. The dog, the leash, the police. He even brings a photo of the dog. The city lawyer says, "Your Honor, this is ridiculous. No one was hurt. The dog didn't bite. This man wasted our time." The judge is quiet for a moment. He reads the law. He looks at Peterson. And then he says something unexpected. "You know what? You're technically correct. The law says dogs must be on a leash. The city didn't enforce it. That is a violation." Peterson's eyes light up. The judge continues, "I am awarding you $1. $1. Not 1,000. Not 10,000. 1. The judge adds, "Mr. Peterson, you are right, but this case was almost meaningless. That's why you get $1. Peterson doesn't care about the money. He won. He was right. He walks out smiling. He tells his friends, "I beat the city." Case closed. Right? Wrong. Here's what Peterson didn't know. In New Jersey, and in many other places, there's a law that says, if you file a lawsuit that is frivolous or without reasonable basis, the loser can make you pay their legal fees. The city lost. But they didn't cry about it. They came back to court. They said, "Your Honor, this man sued us over a dog that ran in his yard for 3 minutes. No injuries, no damage. He won $1. But we spent $18,000 on our lawyers. That lawsuit was frivolous. He should pay us back." Peterson is shocked. He says, "But I won. The judge said I was right." The city lawyer smiles and says, "Being right doesn't mean your lawsuit wasn't frivolous." And the judge? The judge agrees with the city. The judge explains, "Mr. Peterson, yes, you were technically correct. But any reasonable person would not sue a city over a 3-minute dog visit. That's frivolous. You must pay the city's legal fees, $18,000. Peterson feels his stomach drop. Now, Peterson owes $18,000. He's not rich. He's a normal guy. Maybe he works at a warehouse. Maybe he drives a 15-year-old car. He tries to pay. He can't. The city doesn't wait. They put a lien on his house. A lien means you can't sell your house until you pay what you owe. But Peterson still lives there. Maybe it's okay, right? No. The city goes further. They ask the court for full seizure of the property. And the court says yes. Why? Because the law allows it. When you lose a ruling about legal fees, your assets, including your house, can be taken. Peterson gets a letter. You have 30 days to vacate. He won his lawsuit, and now he's homeless. Peterson tried to appeal. He found a lawyer who worked for free. They went to a higher court. The higher court said the first judge was correct. The lawsuit was frivolous. The city gets its $18,000. The house seizure was legal. Peterson lost everything. Let me stop here and say, this is insane, right? He sued because the city didn't do its job. The judge said he was right. But because he only won $1, the city turned around and crushed him. There's a term for this. Lawyers call it prevailing party fee shifting, but normal people call it winning but losing everything. And here's the worst part. Peterson didn't do anything illegal. He didn't hurt anyone. He just wanted the law to be followed, and the law punished him for it. So what can we learn from Peterson? First, winning in court doesn't mean winning in life. Second, never file a lawsuit over something small unless you're ready for a counterattack. And third, read your local laws about frivolous lawsuits. In some countries, the loser pays everything. In others, the winner pays if the judge thinks you're being annoying. Peterson's story is extreme, but it's real. You can look up New Jersey frivolous lawsuit house seizure. It's in court records. So next time someone says, I'll sue them, it's free money. Remember the man who won $1 and lost his home. Let me stop here and ask you something. Have you ever been wronged? Something small? Maybe a neighbor? Maybe a store? Maybe a stranger in traffic? And you thought, someone should pay for this. We all feel that way sometimes. That need to be right. That need for justice. But Peterson teaches us something painful. Sometimes winning is losing. Sometimes the smartest thing you can do is nothing. Not because you're weak. Not because you're scared. But because the legal system doesn't care if you're right. The legal system cares about money, about time, about what a judge thinks is reasonable. And reasonable is not the same as right. Peterson was right. The judge said so. And Peterson lost his house. Oh, and remember the dog? The one that started all of this? The neighbor moved away 6 months before the court case. The dog wasn't even in the neighborhood anymore. Peterson sued the city over a dog that didn't live there. He didn't know that until after he lost his house. When he found out, he sat in his car for 4 hours. Just sat there. Didn't move, didn't eat, didn't call anyone. A friend told me that story. I don't know if it's true, but I believe it. Because imagine realizing I lost my home over something that wasn't even real. That's not justice. That's tragedy. So let me ask you, and be honest, would you have sued the city? Would you have made the same mistake as Peterson? Or would you have let it go? I'm not judging. Really, I don't know what I would have done. But here's what I know. Peterson wanted justice, and the system ate him alive. So before you sue anyone, before you step into a courtroom, ask yourself one question. Is this worth my house? Because for Peterson, it was. And now he sleeps somewhere else.